Hi guys, another evening with Murray Macaulay Irish Whisky Review. I never know what to say, but that's the truth. I never know what to say when I'm starting off. I really should work on this, but that's not how I do things really. Always try and do stuff as almost as spontaneous as I can possibly do it. Tonight we are going to be doing this wonderful thing. Right, hang on, it's focusing on me. I have to get it to focus. I have to press this. That gets it to focus on that. Okay. And then back to me. I'm in the room. Here we go. Yes. This is a cool wee bit of equipment I have here, but it does stuff, and it's the stuff that I don't really understand a lot of the time. Yeah. I think if I probably spent a bit of time with it, I probably could understand it, but it's not really something I would go mad for. Now, this is the Moffat blend from the great people, the lovely folks at the Dark Sky Spirits Company. Nick and Erin. Nice people. Genuinely nice people. Friendly, innovative, good at some of the stuff that they're doing. All the rest of it, we'll have to see how it all pans out, because there's a lot going on with them. But everything they say they are doing is nice. It ticks boxes. For example, they're building a new distillery. Lots of work, lots of effort. Oh, they're building it with the community in mind and doing various things with the community. Excellent. And the most sort of innovative and surprising bit of the whole thing is they're making it family friendly, which is superb. Yeah, get a bit of stuff that the kids can do while they're running around, and mummy and daddy go and do a wee bit of exploring or whatever, and have a couple of wee nips and maybe buy a bottle to take home with them, etc. More of this kind of thing, more of this kind of thing, because people have this. That you would have a glass of wine and the kids can run about round while you're having dinner, and you can sit and there's the kiddies and wee Charlie's running about and so on and so forth. But you'd never think of doing it with whiskey. Why not? There's nothing wrong with sitting having a whiskey of an evening and reading the kids a story. There's nothing wrong with mum and dad sitting out having a whiskey exactly the same way as you would have a wine. Just a little bit, just exactly the same. There's pretty much no difference. So it's just about a change of perception. And if you're going to have a tourism facilities, which all distilleries really have to, not they don't have to, but most of them do, because it makes life a lot easier, it gets more money coming in, it gets all of that kind of stuff. Make it so that mums and dads can sit out and play with their kids while their partner's in doing a tour or whatever. Just make everything a bit more inviting. Good, good on them. Now, this is a blended malt. Now, for those of you who might not be aware of this, what a blended malt is a blend of single malts. Single malt being 100% malted barley spirit from a single distillery. If you have a blended whiskey or a blended scotch or whatever, it is a mixture of malt along with grain whiskey, which is obviously for some people it's much cheaper. It doesn't have anywhere near the same flavour. It's made in the column stills in a continuous process as opposed to the pot still done in batches. So a blend, the likes of your Johnny Walkers, White Mackay, all that kind of stuff, the costs considerably less. Doesn't really have as much flavour. It doesn't. So when you have a blended malt, they're taking single malts, if you like, from different distilleries and blended those, not using the cheaper grain. Okay. Now this is finished in Amontillado sherry casks. Amontillado is a Fino sherry, which is aged a bit differently. It ages with a layer of discarded yeast stuff basically builds up on the top of the sherry. and it ages and below that. So the aging, the oxidisation, because there's a layer of phenol over the top of it, basically what happens is it stops the oxygen getting to it, but the oxygen seeps in through the cask and ages it that way. And it's a fantastic. Go and get yourself a bottle. I gave Justin a little touch of a bottle that I have. A 30-year-old sherry. You can pick it up for, I think it was £26, £27, something like that. 30-year-old drink, aged. That's bags of flavour, bags of it. It's really, really good, really good. I'll maybe do a review of that at some point actually. But we reviewed this on the Irish Whiskey Review on a Saturday night. Nick and Aaron sent out some samples, and to a man, everybody liked it. A couple of people said it doesn't have bags of flavour again, but it's well presented, well made, certainly at the price point. And every single person liked it, which I don't think's happened before. Most people say they appreciate the spirit or they think it's okay, but there's always faults found with it. With this, they didn't. Now, first off, really lots of nuts, and that sherry that's used, the Amontillado sherry, has lots of nuts. It has lots of very complex notes that go through it. So nuts, lots of wood. There's a level of, we have a word that I don't think really translates into English over here. We say something is fusted. Something's a bit fusted. Basically, it means it's a bit musty. It doesn't mean it's off. It means, oh, that's a bit fusted. It's got an earthy note to it. That doesn't really translate all that well. And this has a little element of that to it. It's got some herb to it. It has definitely got. There's little bits of like basil in it, like fresh basil that hasn't been torn. Do you know what I mean? You know, whenever basil's on the plant, you give it a sniff, and then if you tear it or you cut it, it releases all these fresh notes. This hasn't got the freshness of the torn basil. It's got basil leaf, and it's there. On the nose, there's nothing bangs out at you. It's not leaping out at you, and that's okay. That's perfectly all right. It's just got a nice balance to it. Nice, easy drinking, mellow nose. It's just not striking you in the face. It's funny, it's got a little bit of milk and white chocolate, which are two different notes in it. A little bit of white chocolate there. Again, nutty. Really, really nice on the palate. It's not got an oily mouthfeel. What it has is got a really sort of fresh mouthfeel. It actually has that sort of almost menthol effect in your mouth, where it freshens it. It doesn't have menthol flavour, don't get me wrong, it's not menthol flavour, but it's that effect that when you take it in, it almost cleanses your palate. This would go really well with surprisingly a wide range of foods. You could have this. I'm going to say you could have this with a salad, and I don't mean a cheese salad. I mean you could have this with certain salads that would probably add a little. If you had some lettuce-based salad with possibly something like prawns or certainly a light meat in through the salad. A little bit of olive oil salad dressing. This would work okay with that. It would work really well. And this would do well with cheese as well. Probably not so much with dark meats, but this would certainly work with some foods. And it would be well worth checking these out and what it would work with, because it has a lovely flavour to it. Lovely flavour. It's not packed full of flavour. It's not. It's subtler than that. It's nice and rounded. It's balanced. It's got flavours that are working there, that are honeyed. On the finish, there's honey coming through. Touch more nuts. A little bit of chocolate. There's a suggestion of it, not that much. Touches of vanilla. Again, not much of it, but it's still there. It works really well in that it's got that lovely balance. On the finish, a little bit of mild lemon, like a lemon cake, lemon sponge, something like that. So there's those mixing of flavours without it necessarily being, this is definitely that, it's definitely that. If someone said to me that, oh, we're getting biscuit notes off that along with lemon slice, yeah, well, I can get that, because it's those two flavours, and they're sort of mixed over the top of each other, and possibly if you perceive it a little bit more that way rather than that way, you'll get one more than the other, more dominant. I'm getting this sort of layer of flavour where they're quite well mixed, integrated, and it is balanced on the mouth, on the palate. The mouthfeel of it is really, really relaxing, fresh, honeyed, lifts it up well. Finish, not a massive long length of finish. It's maybe longer than I perceived it earlier. It has a nice finish. Wouldn't necessarily say it develops too well. That's probably where I changed a little bit. Wouldn't say it develops a huge amount, but it doesn't necessarily need to. It's got that honey, almost like a locket, honey and lemon coming through, little bits of nuts, and it works on various levels. So I really like this. I think it's very well crafted, really nice whiskey. Colour wise, right, we look at the colour. You see, I you ever see these people that rate their colour as in it's hawthorn sunset and straw reflected or something. I don't really know what it means, I'm sure there are people who own paint companies who could come up with all this sort of stuff. I don't really get it. You can see the colour yourself. It's golden sunset, autumnal golden sunset or something. Yeah, it's a fairly light, but well crafted, very reasonable priced. I think £35-40 roughly for a bottle of good, well aged, blended malt from very nice people who you'll hear more about, because they're doing great stuff, they're doing really nice stuff, and they're really, really pleasant, really nice people. So you can check out, we did an interview with them a few weeks ago. You can check that out, it'll be on this channel. So yeah, Irish Whiskey Review, I will give this, because of the price point it's at, I will certainly give this a nice 8 out of 10, because it's at that level, and very good, very, very good stuff. So, enjoy yourself, guys. I'm going to sit and relax and drink this, possibly watch something on Netflix for a little bit. Enjoy yourselves. I'll catch up with you soon. take care. And don't forget to tune in, watch me and Justin talk and have a bit of a laugh and a giggle on a Saturday night. Take care, guys. All the best.